Hey there, lovely. Welcome back to my channel at LS Bliss Counseling, where you're truly sane. Some time ago, I did a video showcasing some biblical personalities, how they would be if they sat on the therapist versus the client's couch. Well, today I'll be doing a similar video, but looking at the women this time. And we're going to be looking at some notable, powerful women that we are all familiar with. So what if Deborah led a counseling practice? What if Ruth was processing grief? What if Martha struggled with anxiety? What if Hagar was battling trauma? We're talking about these women not just as heroes, but as real women with real emotions. So let's sit back and enjoy our popcorn as we look at them through a mental health lens. First on my list is my all-time fave, Deborah, the wise therapist. Deborah wasn't just a prophetess, she was a judge. People came to her for wisdom and direction. So if Deborah were a therapist today, she would be the clinician who speaks truth without fear, validates your emotions, challenges your excuses, and helps you walk boldly in your calling. So Deborah represents strong leadership, discernment, and secure identity. She reminds us that wise counsel is biblical. The next is Ruth, grief counseling client. Ruth lost her husband. She left her homeland. She followed Naomi into uncertainty. So as a client, Ruth will be sitting in therapy processing grief, displacement, identity loss, financial insecurity. But she would also be an example of resilience. So Ruth teaches us that grief and loyalty can coexist. Faith doesn't erase sorrow, it walks through it. The next lady is Mary Magdalene, trauma survivor. Mary Magdalene was delivered from 7 demons. That's not a small story. Before healing, imagine her mental state, the spiritual torment, the isolation, shame, community rejection, you name it. Mary Magdalene would represent trauma recovery. And here's the beauty. She becomes the first witness of the resurrection. Oh, there's always beauty in our stories, huh? Healing doesn't disqualify you, it positions you. Esther, anxiety under pressure. Esther had to approach the king knowing she could die. Tell me that's not anxiety. Esther's therapy session might include imposter syndrome, fear of failure, survivor's guilt, leadership stress. Yet, Esther acts courageously while afraid. So, courage is not the absence of anxiety, it is obedience in spite of it. That's for someone. Our Lady Sarah, waiting and bitterness. Sarah waited decades for a promise. So in her sessions, she will process infertility, delay, disappointment, comparison, jealousy, regret, control issues. Hello, Hagar situation. Sarah reminds us that long seasons of waiting can distort our faith. But guess what? God is patient with our doubts. Abigail, conflict resolution specialist. Abigail de-escalated a crisis between her foolish husband and David. So she'll be a therapist who specializes in emotional intelligence, crisis management, narcissistic relationship dynamics. Should be a good one for today. Abigail teaches us that wisdom can interrupt destruction. Oh, Martha, very beautiful Martha. High functioning anxiety. Martha was worried and distracted by many things. Martha would be the woman who overfunctions, overserves, overworks, but feels unseen. And guess the best part of this? Jesus doesn't shame her, he gently redirects her. So sometimes our anxiety looks like productivity. Mary, the sister of Martha and Lazarus, she's a regulated presence. The Mary of Bethany sits at Jesus' feet. She models emotional attunement, stillness, deep relational connection. Mary represents grounded spirituality. Mary, mother of Jesus, she embodied maternal strength. Mary, mother of Jesus, carried purpose before she carried proof. Teen pregnancy, social shame, prophetic pressure. As a client, she might process fear of public opinion, responsibility overload, surrender. Mary models trust under scrutiny. Gomer, Gomer, betrayal and attachment wounds. Gomer represents cycles of returning to what harms us. As a client, her therapy themes might include trauma bonding, attachment wounds, self-worth issues. Gomer's story reminds us that restoration is possible even after repeated brokenness. Again, that's for someone. Hagar, trauma and rejection. Hagar was used, expelled, and left in the wilderness. She's one of the first people in scripture to name God El Roi, the God who sees me. So as a client, Hagar would process abandonment, exploitation, survival trauma, single motherhood stress. Hagar's story is deeply trauma informed. God meets her in the wilderness. Here's what I love. The Bible doesn't hide these women's emotional complexity. These women were leaders, survivors, grievers, mothers, strategists, warriors. Faith and mental health are not enemies. If anything, scripture shows us that emotional struggle has always been part of the human story. And just like them, you can lead while healing, obey while anxious, wait while doubting, and be even seen in the wilderness. God is not intimidated by your mental health journey. He meets you in that journey. So if this blessed you, like and subscribe for more faith-based mental health content. And do it to comment down below. I would love to know which of the women you relate with the most. And remember, God never runs out of peace. Thank you for watching. God bless.